which is New Orleans type food service place, smorgasbord type thing.
She's married to Bill. She has 3 great kids, Ryan, Kimberly, and Kristen. Her animals are Jules, Tom, Lance, and Pyro.
They're all cats.
Oh, that's cool. And her hobbies are traveling and genealogy. And I know she's been on some good trips for that. Genealogy discovery. She's lived in Monument for 9 years. Her burning desire is to go to China and see the Great Wall. Something no one knows about Kathy is she has been to, is it pronounced Barrow? Barrow, Alaska. Her key to success is to do her best every day with integrity and honesty and treat others as she would want to be treated. Kathy Brown.
Alaska is 40 miles from the North Pole, in case you're wondering where that is. It's a very exciting place to go. It's where the whales always get stuck in the ice.
Oh.
Russians are always trying to save them. It's happened about 5 times, so. But anyway, Tri Lakes Printing is located in the Monument Marketplace, which is over where Walmart and Kohl's is. We're behind O'Reilly Auto Parts and Jiffy Lube, in case somebody's wondering where we are. Today I wanted to talk to you about business cards. Business cards are very important to everyone's business, and they seem to evolve. When people start businesses, they think they can print them on their home computer, and they do that for a while, and then they realize that they can't do that, and they think they're really expensive, so then they end up at Vistaprint, and then eventually they end up with Dean and I. So, you know, as your business evolves, you can tell how you mature by the type of business card that you have. If you're still printing your business cards on your home computer, we need to talk. It really makes a statement. It's your calling card. It's your the way that you identify your business. And the more credit that you give to your printed pieces, the more it looks, it raises you in stature in your business, is the way that I would put that. So I'm not saying that you have to go out and spend thousands of dollars when you start a business and do a lot of printing, but you can do one piece, which would be your business card, and have it look really professional. It'll set you apart from other people that start their businesses. There's 3 different kinds of business cards, in my opinion. There's very high-end business cards that are very expensive. These cards, this has been die cut. This was printed on a press and then die cut. These cards up here have all been foil stamped. They're a lot more expensive than other types of cards. Just a die for a foil card is $75, but once you buy the die, you have it. And hopefully you don't make any changes. Like these cards here are completely foiled. They're not printed at all. And so you wouldn't want to do a card like this if you were going to change your website or hadn't had your website up. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It's $130 just to have 1,000 cards imprinted with the foil. So, you know, they're very high-end cards. The most expensive card that we've produced is this business card right here. The reason I didn't stick it up there is because the back is artwork on the back. And this was an artist, and he wanted this printed in 4-color. He press-checked this job. It had to be perfect on to his art. It then had to be sent to the letterpress shop to be foiled, and then it got sent again because the back of it is UV coated. So this card, for 1,000 of these cards, it was like $700 or $800. So I mean, it's obscene. Yeah, we did this a long time ago. Yeah, this is like candy for us. So yeah. The next type of card is the most inexpensive cards and the most popular cards, and those are digital cards. And digital printing is done on a copy machine, and you can do them very quickly, and they can be 2-sided. Most of these cards on here bleed, which means we have to print them bigger and cut them down. You can use all different kinds of paper when you do digital cards, and they're the least expensive cards. And then the bottom row of cards is all our business cards that we're printing on press. And these cards are typically printed with PMS colors. They're done today mostly for companies that have specific Pantone colors that they're trying to match. They have letterhead and envelopes and all kinds of printed pieces, and they need specific ink colors used in those business cards. So these cost a little bit more. So what happens when you come into Tri Lakes Printing and you want to order business cards, you come to us and, you know, we find out if we've done them before, and then we have to evaluate what this person's wanting in the range of these cards and what they need. And then we go from there, we figure out what kind of quantity that they need, and then we go to the paper. Most popular paper that we have that we run business cards is called a C1S, which means coated one side paper. And it's glossy on the front, and it's matte on the back. People like this paper because they can write on the back, and they don't think they can write on gloss, and maybe this high gloss on the front of this one isn't really great to write on, but most of the glosses that we use, like when we use a double-sided gloss paper, you can write on them just fine. But people think that you can't, so they prefer this paper. So that's what we do most of the cards on digitally, and people want colors, and they would say, well, how if you use white paper do you get the color? That's one of the big questions. Well, we print the color. So these cards are all printed on white paper. That one's not, but they're all printed on white. We print whatever color you want on the paper, so that's why everything's turned to white paper. Most of the colored papers have been discontinued, and there's just hardly any paper choices compared to what there was 5 years ago. They've really cut back. So once we determine the paper and the ink and the process, we give people a price, and then we gather their information, or we gather their artwork that they have. If they've gone to a graphic designer, we get the files, and then what happens is it goes into our pre-press department, and we produce a proof. So most of our proofs are distributed through email. We email you the proof, you look at it, you tell us you love it or you can't stand it and you need this moved or that, and we decide what we have to do in that process with the proofing. But if somebody's really picky about color, we have them come back in and proof it, because if they're running the card digitally, we have 5 copy machines. Every one of them prints a different color, and every file prints out a different way. And if they've done it at home in Publisher, or if Dean's done it at his office, everything looks different. And then, on top of all of that, we have copy repairmen out daily in our office, as Darlene will attest to, because usually when she's there in the morning, I'm screaming because some copy machine's not working. And when they make adjustments to these copy machines, it changes the color. So we work very closely with people that are picky about their cards and picky about their colors. That's why they come to us, and we will do whatever it takes to make customers happy when they want their color to be a certain way. All of our people are trained and know how to go through these files and adjust the colors and get them to work with whatever media that we're trying to run them on. So that's one of the reasons that you would want to come to Tri-Lakes Printing. So once the proof is signed off, then the cards get set up on a sheet of paper, typically this size. This is a 12 by 18 sheet. We run business cards, usually 18 to 21 up on this sheet. And then it gets sent either to Lisa, who does all of our copy machine work, or it gets sent to Mike or Tony in the back to run it on press. One of the advantages to running cards digitally is, in this day and age, no one's going to understand this, but you can get them quickly, very quickly. I mean, we have people that call us up in the middle of the day and tell us they need cards by 6 o'clock. And we do it all the time.
Oh my God.
So that is a normal thing for us. That is not an abnormal event. So, but your cards typically need to be produced digitally if that's the case. Because if they're ran on press and in ink, they need to dry. And depending on how much humidity we have here in the air, they have to sit and dry for 2 or 3 days. We printed Luna business cards last week. They're solid black with a turquoise color on it, like the color of this napkin. And they had to sit there for 3 days before they could be cut to keep them from offsetting. So they're in a hurry for their cards and they want them, but the process it just didn't warrant it last week. We had a lot of humidity in the air, and it took a long time for the Maureen, that's raising her hand about her cards, they print on press too. So, you know, you can't just drop it. They have to be printed and let dry overnight at least, so that they don't offset.
Thank you.
So it's but, you know, so that's one of the reasons. The other reason people do digital cards is because they're cheaper, you know, so they're a lot less expensive than printing them on press. But after they've dried or after they've run on the copy machine, they go to the cutter, who is Craig, and he cuts all the cards. If they've been run digitally, they may have to be some of them run more because copy machines shift paper and things don't always line up. And you will cut them and one whole row of them won't be cut right. And you have to go back and run some more and cut them some more. And we just keep doing it until we get it right. And we're working with equipment, so we don't have any control over a lot of things in the process of creating things for people. And then the cards circle back around to customer service. We do the last quality check on them, and you call the customer and they're ready to pick up. So that's our process for almost everything that we produce. It doesn't matter if it's a brochure or a postcard or what it is. It goes through all those departments before it comes back to you, and it's quality checked all along the way so that we make sure that by the time the product gets to the customer, it's perfect and it's exactly what they wanted.
It is.
Thank you.